Hi, it's Dr. KC and welcome to Tea Time with me. So I've decided to start Tea Time as a semi-weekly event where I will make a cup of tea, talk with you about the cup of tea, if it's an herbal tea, what type of tea it is, we'll talk about it, and then I'll have another colleague on to chat with, or I'll just talk about something naturopathic, wellness, health related, and we'll just connect for 15 minutes or so, however long it takes to sip on that cup of tea. So I thought this would be fun because, it's the pandemic, it's winter. I really miss being out. I really miss going to coffee and tea shops and just, kind of sitting, doing work or hanging out with a friend. I really miss that. So tea time, here we go. Okay, so today's tea is green tea, and I love green tea. Green tea is probably my favorite tea, and there's so many different types of green tea, right? So one of my favorite green teas is sencha green tea, and sencha green tea is a traditional Japanese green tea, and it's I would say it's kind of bold, but it's not like the strongest green tea that you could get. It's a little bit earthy, but it's not super earthy. It's not really sweet. It's a really nice green tea. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of tea. And if you wanna pause this and make yourself a cup of tea, green tea perhaps, then we will talk about our green tea. Okay, so green tea. So green tea has so many health benefits. I'm sure you have heard of some of these already. Green tea is wonderful for cognitive function. So green tea supports not only memory, but it also supports your attention, your focus, concentration. It's really wonderful. It's also neuroprotective. So it protects your brain cells, and it also can protect your nervous system throughout your body. Green tea has a lot of wonderful antioxidant properties. Green tea contains something called catechins, which are a compound. The most well-studied of these is called EGCG, which stands for epigallocatechin gallate. It's a mouthful. The EGCG has been more studied than other catechins, and it's actually been shown to have some potential anti-cancer properties, which is wonderful, right? It also, green tea also has some nice anti-inflammatory benefits. It can, along with that cognitive support, it can be a little bit stimulating. It does have some caffeine in it. On the caffeine scale, green tea tends to be way at the low end for teas for the most part. Some types of green tea do have more caffeine. And in terms of teas overall, black teas do have the most caffeine of teas in general. And then we have white teas and then green teas. So green tea is really at the lower end of the caffeine scale there. And that's important if you are caffeine sensitive. So I'm actually really caffeine sensitive. If I have a regular cup of coffee in the morning, I know that it's probably going to impact my sleep later in the day. And it could also make me a little bit jittery. So that's not really cool. But with green tea, it actually doesn't really impact any of that. The body handles it, it's much gentler on the body, I should say. So green tea caffeine is way down there, but it still does have a little bit of caffeine. Now, green tea also, in addition to its anti-inflammatory properties, it also can help your body produce more nitric oxide, which is relaxing to your blood vessels. And it can also help to inhibit something called the angiotensin converting enzyme, which, if you've heard of ACE inhibitor drugs, that's what those are doing. So I'm not saying green tea is an ACE inhibitor, not at all, no. But green tea has a little bit of that activity. Okay, so what that does is it can help to lower your blood pressure. So green tea has some nice cardiovascular benefits. And just back to that antioxidant, anti-inflammatory stuff, those two things, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, those are hugely supportive for your cardiovascular function as well. Cleaning up stress, free radicals, oxidative damage throughout the body, including in your blood vessels, which is where it can happen oftentimes. So really wonderful cardio support, wonderful neurological support. Green tea also contains something called theanine, which is a compound that can have a nice relaxing effect on the body and the mind. So people sometimes will actually take supplements of theanine as a relaxant of sorts, depending on what's going on with them. It's good to work with a doctor if you're thinking about using that, but it can be nice, relaxing, can help with sleep sometimes, calming overactive, stimulated, all that stuff. So the theanine and caffeine in green tea, though, they kind of balance each other out in a way. Now, they don't cancel each other out, but the green tea having both the theanine and the caffeine, both of those are kind of balancing. The theanine helps to kind of take the edge off the caffeine even a little bit more, even though the caffeine content is still pretty low. So the synergy that's in the whole plant is really beautiful. And that's something with naturopathic medicine that we like to respect, the synergy of the whole plant. If we can use a whole plant as something to support someone's health, there is really a nice synergy when we give someone all of the constituents that are in the whole plant versus just one extract or another extract. Although I do want to say those can also be helpful in certain cases. So there's so much there. We individualize everything, so there's always different ways to think about things. But the green tea has so many wonderful health properties. And just on the caffeine note, something that I will sometimes do, which is I love this tip. It's so simple. If I want to have a cup of green tea, but it's close to bedtime, I will brew the green tea like usual, but I'll only let it steep for 30 seconds or so, 30 to 60 seconds. And then I will take out those tea leaves or the tea bag, and I will dump out the water, and then put the same tea leaves, tea bag right back in, and I'll pour fresh water. So you're essentially getting rid of that first 30, 60 seconds of water and then putting fresh water over. All the caffeine, for the most part, is going to go out in that water that you dump out. That first 30 to 60 seconds of steeping is when most of the caffeine will come out of the green tea. So you can just toss it and then make yourself a fresh cup, and it's like decaf green tea, basically. I really like that tip. And this cup, so I'm going to take a sip now. This mug that I have, I love it. One of my best friends gave this to me. It's a nice matte finish. I love mugs like that. And it has this cute little top that you can put on. So if you're steeping it, this will keep the aromatics in there. Little top. And then it actually also has this little steeper that it came with. It's ceramic. So you can put your loose tea leaves in here. I'm not going to do it right now because it would make a mess on my desk. But you can put your tea leaves in here, put this on, and then put this top on. Really nice. And so there's, I don't even know who makes this teacup. I'm not advertising it. I just like the functionality. But sometimes I'll even just put a plate over the top of a cup of tea if I want to keep the aromatics in. I don't always do that with green tea, but with some of the herbal teas, I do really like keeping the aromatics in. You get more of a health benefit with those. So we'll talk about that more when we talk about some other types of tea in our upcoming tea times, which I hope I will see you at. Now let's talk a little bit about some naturopathic stuff. So I wanted to talk today about some of our core naturopathic principles. And these are some of the things that really guide us as naturopathic doctors. So you may have heard me talk about these before, or you may already know them. But one is that naturopathic medicine is very, very individualized. We want to support you as a whole person. You're very different. You're an individual. You are unique from everyone else, regardless of whatever medical diagnoses you may share with someone else. You are a different person, and you deserve a custom treatment plan for you as an individual. So as naturopathic doctors, we really want to support the body's innate healing wisdom. The body has so much wisdom. When we experience pain, symptoms, whatever it is, whatever we're experiencing, it's the body sending us a message as to something is going on within. And the body's kind of saying, help, this is happening. And so as naturopathic doctors, we try to interpret that based on your own health context, and then we want to support you. So another way to say that is we don't want to suppress the symptoms you're having. We want to figure out what's causing those symptoms, identify those symptoms, the cause, and then address whatever is going on at that deeper level, that's where we can really facilitate healing. So identifying and addressing the underlying cause of whatever the health concerns or issues are, it's a really important part of naturopathic medicine. And again, also the body's innate healing wisdom. We want to support your body to be its best, right? So we do want to alleviate suffering, or if something's happening that's not ideal, we want to alleviate that. But we want to not just work on suppressing symptoms. We want to really figure out what's causing the symptom and address that. And then another big part of naturopathic medicine is using the simplest and least invasive means possible to really facilitate healing. And so, for example, if you have 5 different health concerns, naturopathically, I don't necessarily want to just give you one treatment for each of those 5 concerns, like this for that, this for that, this for that. That's not really my goal. My goal is more to look at everything that's happening. What are the patterns, the connections? What's this telling me about your whole body, mind, everything? What's this telling me about your physiological function? And how can we support you there? And then instead of giving you one treatment for each of those 5 things, I would ideally choose 1 or 2, maybe 3 treatments or things that we can use to support you to work on those 5 things happening. So it's kind of like looking at what can we do most efficiently? What can we use treatment-wise that's going to hit, that's going to target multiple things happening with you, rather than just you have this, so you get this, and then you have this, so you get this. We want to look at you as a whole and say, okay, what can we do most efficiently, most effectively? What's going to be the simplest? This is going to be the least amount of stuff to give to the body or to do, and go there first, rather than giving you a whole lot of stuff. The more we can simplify, streamline, keep things efficient and elegant, the better. Now, on that note, naturopathic medicine is very integrative, and most naturopathic doctors would agree with that. I always like my patients to have a primary care provider, because that's not my scope of practice in Connecticut. And sometimes you need a primary care provider. Yeah, definitely. And it's good to have that relationship established so that that person, that provider, is there for you when you need it. So with naturopathic medicine, I'm looking at the person as a whole, but I also know when someone needs to be referred to another practitioner or specialist. And I also know if someone needs more expertise than I may have in one area, I'll refer them. So naturopathic medicine is very integrative. It's not just natural or nothing. No. Very, very integrative. Naturopathic medicine is really about what we're getting to the root of what's going on and what can we do to best support the person. And sometimes that's sending you to a different provider. Sometimes that's giving you, it really is individualized. So I will not go too much into that. We also do, just thinking about naturopathic, natural things. And this is why a lot of people actually come see me initially, because they want natural things. They want to support their body naturally, which is wonderful. So the healing power of nature. Yeah, there's a lot in the natural world that can be very healing and supportive for the body. The body is a natural creation. The natural world gives us a lot of natural supportive tools. So there's a synergy there too. So naturopathic types of things, for example, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, antioxidants, all sorts of micronutrients like that. And then using food as medicine, lifestyle modifications, all sorts of different things that we can pull out of our naturopathic toolkit to support people. In some states, naturopathic doctors can prescribe some pharmaceuticals. Not in Connecticut. I will always refer someone if I think they need a medication, and I do that. I don't not do that. I certainly do that. So again, very integrative. And then lastly, and really importantly, a big part of naturopathic medicine is educating each person on why I'm recommending what I'm recommending, because I want you to know why, so that you're more engaged with your health and wellness, and you know the importance of eating this specific food or not eating this specific food, or taking this supplement, or drinking this tea, whatever it is. it's really important for each person to understand what we're talking about with their body. And actually, when I order blood work, I love to see lab work. So when I order blood work the first time with someone, if they haven't seen a naturopathic doctor before, they are usually very surprised when we review their blood work. And almost everyone says something along the lines of, a doctor has never gone through my blood work like this with me. They usually just say it's fine. Or they usually just say, your sugar is high, or something like that. A doctor has never gone through my blood work like this with me. And that's something that, I'm glad I can share and educate them on. But it's something that I think is really important, because when you do lab work, just for example, that lab work gives us so much information about what's happening in your body, and that's your body. You deserve to know what's happening in it. And, if you're really not interested in talking about the lab work, we don't have to talk about it, but that has actually never happened, I would say. I can't remember an instance when that has happened where somebody's not interested. It's your body. You did the lab work, you want to know what's happening. So we spend time going really line by line. I go through the lab work with people for the most part, and we discuss what's going on and what's healthy, we go through everything. And that's really, really cool. So it's very, very fulfilling to be educating people, to be sharing information. And we're all always learning. Sometimes we think healthcare practitioners or doctors, they have all the answers. No, we're all always learning, and any good doctor or healthcare practitioner would tell you that we're all always learning, and the best teachers are other people. So yeah. And if if you've seen some of my other materials that I share, I love sharing information. And the vast majority of what I share, it's all free. I like sharing information. I have my newsletter. I do a lot of social media posts, writing, articles, blogs, that kind of stuff. So I just love sharing this information. And then I do virtual talks as well right now. I'm doing one with the local library in a couple weeks. That'll be fun. And all right, so this tea time has gone a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I appreciate you being here. And I'm going to take another sip of my green tea. All right, so I hope to see you at the next tea time. Again, thank you for being here. If you haven't tried green tea, give it a try. And it's funny, it doesn't really look too green, right? It has like a green hint to it, but it's almost more of a brown color. Yeah, but it is delicious. All right.